This is your math gal, Julie Harland. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where all of my videos are organized by topic. This is our ninth example of solving basic equations with fractions. I'm calling them basic because we just have the x on the left-hand side, one term on the left-hand side, and one term on the right. This is the first example where we have a fraction on both sides of the equation. The first 8 problems, we only had a fraction on the left, but we had some negative numbers involved, etc. Okay, but we go ahead and solve this similarly to how we've done all the problems. The first method we could use is to isolate the x to have just what x equals, is to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of this coefficient. So if this is 2/5, the reciprocal would be 5/2. So if I multiply by 5/2, see how you're going to be able to cancel those 5's and those 2's, but whatever you multiply on the left side of an equation, you have to multiply on the right side of the equation. So what does this give me? Well, the 2's cancel, the 5's cancel, so I have x equals, and does anything cancel on the right? Nope. So we've got to just multiply the numerators, 3 times 5 and 4 times 2. This is an improper fraction, but it's reduced, so it's perfectly fine to leave your answer like that, but you could also write it as a mixed number, 1 7/8, or you could do long division and write it as a decimal, which I think is going to be 1.875. But it's perfectly fine to leave it like this. All right, second way to solve this. Same equation. If you want to do it by clearing the fractions first, is you look at the denominators. Well, this is the first time we have fractions on both sides, and we have 2 different denominators. They don't have any factors in common, so the least common denominator is actually 20, which happens to be 5 times 4. So the other method of doing this is multiply both sides by the least common denominator. I'll write that as 20 over 1, and that way I'll get an equation without any fractions. The reason multiplying by the least common denominator gives you an equation without fractions is because that means that denominator will go evenly, right? It will cancel into the larger least common denominator. All right, so what do we have here? The 5 cancels into the 20 and you have 4. The 4 cancels into the 20 and you get 5. So I'm left with this new equation, 4 times 2 times x, which is 8x equals, and over here I have 3 times 5. So I get an equation without fractions. That's what happens when you multiply both sides by the least common denominator. And now we could divide both sides by 8 to get x equals, I think I'm going to run out of space here, 15/8. So that gives you 2 ways to solve this equation. There are more ways, but let's go ahead and check this solution, 15/8. So we've got our original equation and we're checking to see if x equals 5/8 is the correct solution. So on the left hand side I have 2/5 times 15/8. So I'm going to put 15/8 in for x. I'm going to simplify this left hand side. So let's see, 5 goes into 15 3 times, and 2 and 8, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I have left in my numerator 1 times 3, and in the denominator 1 times 4. So the left-hand side simplifies to 3/4. And the right-hand side is already simplified, so we just have to write that down. And if these are the same number, then it checks. Now, so far on all the videos I've done, it's always checked. That means I've gotten the right answer. But if I didn't get the right answer, you would get a different number on this side, unless you did some other arithmetic mistake, of course, when you checked it. So if I would have gotten 3/4 on this side and 4/3 on the other side, that would have said, hey, something's wrong, go back and do the problem again, solve it again. All right, so this does not mean the answer is 3/4, it means this is the answer, right? That means that's correct. So x equals 5/8 is the correct answer. And we could write that in the solution set inside those braces. That's another way of writing it. This is your Math Gal, Julie Harland. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where all of my videos are organized by topic.